today's video, we will see about exemption under section 54B, 54D and 54EC of income from capital gains. Section 54B deals with exemption for capital gain arising from transfer of existing agricultural land and investing in new agricultural land. Section 54D deals with exemption for capital gain arising from compulsory acquisition of land and building forming part of an industrial undertaking. And section 54EC deals with exemption for capital gain arising from transfer of any long-term capital asset but the amount invested in certain long-term specified assets like bonds. Now let us see one by one in detail. Section 54B. Section 54B, as I told you, deals with the exemption for capital gain arising from transfer of existing agricultural land and investing in new agricultural land. Let us see what are all the conditions which has to be fulfilled to claim the exemption. First one is capital asset transferred or sold should be an agricultural land. It should be only an agricultural land in urban area, and it can be either short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. It should be an agricultural land situated in urban area, and it can be either short-term capital asset or a long-term capital asset. The assessee is assumed to be an individual or into undivided family. The capital asset has been transferred or sold in relevant previous year. For the assessment year 2019-20, the previous year will be 2018-19. So the asset should have been sold in the previous year. The land has been used by the assessee or his parents for agricultural purpose for the period of more than 2 years before the sale. And the assessee should have purchased another agricultural land within a period of 2 years from the date of transfer. Next one is amount of exemption which can be claimed under section 54B. The cost of the new agricultural land purchase is more than the amount of capital gains. Entire capital gains are exempt. If the cost of new agricultural land purchased is less than the amount of capital gain, in that case, amount of taxable capital gain is equal to capital gains minus cost of new agricultural land. Here also we have the concept of deposit in capital gain accounting scheme, just as section 54 which we have dealt already. So deposit in capital gain accounting scheme under section 54 B subsection 2. If the amount of capital gain is not utilized by the assessee, he or she can deposit before the due date of filing return of income in an account opened under capital gain account scheme. In that case, he can claim an exemption to the amount pertaining to the following conditions. The first condition is the amount deposited or invested in capital gain account scheme should be utilized to acquire or purchase a new agricultural land only. The amount of capital gain account scheme should be reinvested within 2 years of date of sale of the land. And the third one is the new agricultural land which is purchased should not be sold within a period of 3 years from the date of its purchase. Now let us see one problem based on this provisions. Agricultural land situated in Agra purchased in 2003-04 for 46,400, sold for rupees 3,80,000 on 1/5/2018. So this land is a long-term capital asset. Agricultural land is a long-term capital asset. The assessee purchased another place of land on 1/8/2018 for 70,000 and deposited 30,000 on 24/6/2019 in capital gain accounting scheme. Find out the capital gain chargeable in the year 2019-20. Here we can see that as usual we'll find out the taxable capital gain. As this is a long-term capital gain, we have to find out the index cost of acquisition. So sale consideration is 3,80,000 which we have written. Then from that we will deduct the index cost of acquisition. The cost of the agricultural land is 46,400. So 46,400 into 280 by 109, which is 1,19,193. If we deduct this index cost from the sale consideration, we get the long-term capital gain of 2,60,807. Now let us see the exemption part. The assessee purchased another. The assessee purchased another place of land on 1/8/2018. The land was purchased within a year itself. So he is entitled to claim the deduction under section 54B. So the land was purchased for the amount of 70,000 and here the amount has been deposited in capital gain account scheme of rupees 30,000 on 24/6/19. Again here also within the year itself the amount has been deposited. So again this amount can be added along with the new agricultural land purchase. So total amount of exemption which can be claimed is 70,000 plus 30,000, that is 1 lakh. So for calculating taxable long-term capital gain, we have to deduct long-term capital gain minus the exemption, which gives you 1,60,807 of taxable long-term capital gain. Problem number 2. Mr. Sendil sold a piece of urban agricultural land for rupees 10 lakh on 1/4/2018. The land was acquired on 1/10/2008 for rupees 10 lakhs. Sorry, 10,000. Suresh deposited rupees 8 lakhs in capital gain account scheme on 1/5/2019 for the purpose of investment in agricultural land. He has withdrawn 7,000 by 1/4/2020 and purchased another piece of land, urban agricultural land. So here in this problem we can see that it's a long-term urban agricultural land is a long-term capital asset because it was purchased on 1/10/2008 and sold on 1/4/2018. It was held for more than 3 years. So this is subject to indexing. That's what we have done in the solution. Sale consideration is 10 lakh less index cost of acquisition is 10,000 is the cost of acquisition, and with that we have to index it. 280 is the cost of inflation index for 2018-19 divided by cost of inflation index for 2008-9, that is during the time of acquisition, is 137. So if we compute this, we get 20,438. If we deduct the index cost from the sale consideration, we get the long-term capital gain of 9,79,652. Now coming to the exemption part. Suresh deposited rupees 8 lakh in capital gain account scheme on 1/5/2019 for the purpose of investment in agricultural land. So he has deposited the amount in order to purchase an agricultural land itself. So he is entitled to claim the exemption under section 54B subsection 2. So deposited this amount in CGAS is 8 lakh. He has deposited the amount of 8 lakh on 1/5/2019, and within a year itself he has deposited. So he is entitled to claim the exemption. If we deduct from the long-term capital gain the exemption amount, we get the taxable long-term capital gain of 1,79,652. Again, in the question, we can notice that he has withdrawn rupees 7 lakh by 1/4/2020 and purchased another piece of urban agricultural land. So Suresh deposited 8 lakh in capital gain scheme on 1/5/2019, and again he has withdrawn the amount of 7 lakh on 1/4/2020. So for the year 2021-22, he may get a long-term capital gain which is called as deemed long-term capital gain for the assessment year 2021-22. So amount already deposited in capital gain account scheme is 8 lakh. From that we have to deduct the amount withdrawn for investment in agricultural land of rupees 7 lakh. We get the deemed long-term capital gain for the assessment year 2021-22 as rupees 1 lakh. That's all relating to section 54B. I will pass on to the section 54D. Section 54D, here we can see about the capital exemption for capital gain arising from compulsory acquisition of land and building forming part of an industrial undertaking. So compulsory acquisition of land by the government, land or building by the government, which is used for industrial purpose. For industrial purpose, land can be used. So for this, certain conditions have to be fulfilled. We will see those conditions to claim an exemption. The assessee should have used the land and building for industrial purpose. He should have used the land only for industrial purpose at least for 2 years before the sale took place. The asset can be short-term or long-term capital asset. The assessee should have purchased within a period of 3 years, purchased another land or building or constructed any other building for the purpose of shifting or re-establishing the industrial undertaking. The assessee should have purchased the land within a period of 3 years. Then only he can claim this exemption, and that too for the purpose of industrial undertaking. Compulsory acquisition of land and building from assessee can be undertaken only by the government for its development and expansion activities. So this compulsory acquisition should be taken by the government. The compensation amount received by the assessee from the government is deemed to be the sale consideration earned by the assessee. So the amount the government gives is considered to be the sale consideration in case of section 54D. Now we'll see what is the amount of exemption and how it can be claimed. Cost of new land or building is more than capital gain. If the cost of new land or building is more than the capital gain, entire amount of capital gain is exempted. If the cost of new land or building is less than the capital gain, excess is taxable. Here also we have the concept of capital gain account scheme under section 54D subsection 2. When the amount is not utilized by the assessee for the purchase or construction of new land before the due date of furnishing the return on income, it shall be deposited in the account opened under CGAS, that is capital gain account scheme, and utilized within 3 years to claim exemption. If the new land and building is sold within 3 years, the new land and building is sold within 3 years, the amount of capital gain exempted earlier will be chargeable to tax in the year of sale of new land and building. if the amount deposited in CGIS is not utilized within the stipulated period, the amount so not utilized, it shall be taxable in the year in which the time limit expires. So the amount which is deposited in CGIS has to be utilized within the period given, that is within the 3 years. Otherwise, it is taxable. So we'll see a problem based on this. One building which was purchased in 2008 of X Limited, an industrial undertaking, is compulsorily acquired by the government of Uttar Pradesh with effect from on 1/4/2018 was rupees 3,50,000. The UP government paid rupees 6 lakh on 2nd May 2018 as compensation. So there was a compulsory acquisition of a industrial undertaking by the UP government. So the sale consideration, which has to be treated as a sale consideration. So sale consideration is rupees 6 lakhs. Again, you can see that the asset is a short-term capital asset. Here again, I'd like to mention that the asset can be either short-term or long-term capital asset. Here the asset is short-term capital asset. So cost of acquisition is 3,50,000. If we deduct the cost of acquisition from 6 lakhs, we get the short-term capital gain of 2,50,000. The company purchased another building on industrial undertaking for rupees 2 lakh on 20th April 2019. So here within a year of sale itself, which we consider to be the deemed sales because it was compulsorily acquired by the government. So within 1 year itself, the land has been, a new industrial building has for the purpose of industrial undertaking, a building has been purchased. So this you can claim under section 54D. Exemption can be claimed. So 2 lakh is the exemption which can be claimed. Right from 2,50,000, if we deduct the amount of 2 lakh, we get the taxable short-term capital gain of rupees 50,000. Now we'll see the next session 54EC. This section deals with exemption of capital gain arising from transfer of any long-term capital asset. This can be any long-term, transfer of any long-term, either it can be a residential house as well. But the amount invested in certain long-term specified assets. But the amount has to be invested only in bonds. Now let us see what are the specified assets and we'll see what are all the conditions to be fulfilled for the exemption. The exemption claim can be claimed by all assessee. So here the exemption can be claimed by all the assessees. The asset transferred should be long-term capital asset. Here the asset can be only long-term capital asset. The investment in specified bonds must be within 6 months by the assessee. The investment in specified bonds must be within 6 months. Then specify what are all the specified assets. Specified assets are the bonds of National Highway Authority of India, the bonds of Rural Electrification Corporation or notified bonds. Then again we can see the maximum permissible limit for investment in one financial year is rupees 50 lakh. The newly acquired bond should not be sold within a period of 5 years, and if they are sold within a prescribed period, the capital gain from new sale and already exempted capital gain will be taxable in the year of sale. So this based on this section, what we can know is it has to be the specified asset. Exemption can be claimed for the specified assets from NHAIR REC, and the permissible amount is 50 lakhs, and the investment must be made within 6 months by the assessee. Amount of exemption. If long-term capital gain is more than the amount invested in capital in purchase of specified bonds within a stipulated period, taxable capital gain is equal to long-term capital gain minus amount invested to purchase specified asset. If long-term capital gain is less than the amount invested in the purchase of specified bonds within the specified period, then entire long-term capital gain is exempt from tax. We'll see one problem based on this. Mr. David sold plot of 1/6/2018 for rupees 22,40,000. He spent rupees 40,000 for sale. The plot was received by him on death of his father on 22/3/2004. His father had acquired it on 1/4/1980 for rupees 1 lakh and its FMV on 1/4/2001 was 1,40,000. On 1/6/2018, he invested rupees 3 lakh in National Highway Authority bonds. So we can see that he has invested the amount in National Highway Authority bonds. So here we can claim the exemption under section 54 EC. He has sold a plot. It's a long-term it's an asset which has been, any asset can be sold. So here a plot is sold and it has been invested in specified bond. So it comes under section 54 EC. So we'll see sale consideration. Sale consideration here is 22,40,000. From that, if we deduct expenses on transfer of rupees 40,000, we get 22 lakhs. From this 22 lakhs, we have to deduct index cost of acquisition, that is 1,40,000 into 280 divided by 100, we get 3,92,000. By deducting index cost from the net sale consideration, we get the long-term capital gain of 18,08,000. And from this, the exemption regarding under section 54 EC on investment in National Highway Authority bonds is deducted, which is 3 lakh. We get the taxable long-term capital gain of 15,08,000. Let's see one more problem. Suraj sells his only residential house in Delhi on 24th August 2018 for rupees 15,20,000 and incurs an expenditure of 20,000 in connection with transfer. So here cost of acquisition of the house by him in 1975 was 18,000. On 10th January 2019, he invests rupees 5 lakh in bonds of Rural Electrification Corporation of India. On 16 January 2019, he purchases residential flat in Delhi for rupees 4,50,000 and deposits rupees 1,50,000 in capital gain deposit scheme. Compute the taxable capital gain in his hands. Fair by market value of house on 1/4/2001 is rupees 50,000. So here first we will write the sale consideration. Sale consideration is rupees 15,20,000. From that we will deduct expenses on transfer. The expenses on transfer is 20,000. So if we deduct the expenses of transfer from the sale consideration, we get 15 lakh of net sale consideration. From this we have to deduct index cost of acquisition. For index cost of acquisition, the asset was purchased on 1975, but we have given the fair market value on 1/4/2001 as 50,000, which is higher. So we will take this 50,000 into consideration. So 50,000 is for 2001. So 280 divided by 100, which gives you 1,40,000 of index cost. We deduct this from the net sale consideration. We get 13,60,000 of long-term capital gain. Now we will see the exemption one by one. Here he has invested in residential flat in Delhi for 4,50,000. So he has purchased, the sale was on 24th August 2018 and he has purchased the house residential flat on 16 January 2019. within 2 years of sale he has purchased the land, so he is entitled to claim an exemption under section 54. So purchase of residential houses 4,50,000 he can claim an exemption. Again the amount is deposited rupees 1,50,000 in capital gain scheme. So amount deposited in capital gain accounting scheme is 1,50,000, which can also be claimed under the exemption 54, under section 54. Then again he has invested 5 lakh in the bonds of Rural Electrification Corporation of India on 10th January 2019. This is also within the period, stipulated period, in Rural Electrification Corporation of India, which he can claim under exemption under section EC. So investment in bonds of RECI is 5 lakhs. If we add up all these three and it comes to 11 lakh, if we deduct from the long term capital gain, we get the taxable capital gain of rupees 2,60,000. So these are all the problems relating to section 54B, 54D and 54 EC. And for more problems, university prescribed reference books are given. You can